Hi, and welcome to Two Tired Teachers.
Today we are going to be talking to you about camping options near the Needles section of Canyonlands National Park. Now, according to, as you look at this map, you'll see the Needles section is that southeast part. But that's where we are, and
that's the one we know about.
That's the one where we've gone and looked at our options. And so we're going to kind of walk you through how we went to them.
When we first got to Canyonlands yesterday, the ranger told us that the camping was full, and we asked, do you mind if we go look? Because people could leave at any time, and there are two sections. One is reserved, and the other is just walk in.
First in, yeah. And currently, and I don't know that it's always this way, I believe it's Loop A is reserved, and Loop B is the walk-in or first come, first serve.
And we went down and there were no sites available.
And honestly, that one, we'll show you these sites, and just want to tell you, just like most of the national parks, they're really designed for tent camping.
Yes.
There are flush toilets, there is potable water, I think there also is a vault toilet down at the end, but
they encourage you to drink lots of water, cold or hot weather, because of the altitude and getting dehydrated.
But anyway, the camping, so far as the campsites, of the first come, first serve, there were maybe a half a dozen that would accommodate an RV our size. I might try. It's 22 feet long. It's actually 2111, but we're going to call that 22. They call it 21 on our title. But most of those we could not get into, no. And of the ones we could, you're pulling up into the site, and so trying to get level would have been very difficult. But you can see there are a few RVs, and there are a few, now they're two ADA accessible sites.
That would be perfect,
but they're ADA accessible. And so,
if you have a conversion van,
then yeah, they would work great. Probably the tent trailers.
Yes, and maybe a very small, like a Scamp or Casita or...
And a few of those, yeah. But our next option was Hamburger Rock. And, well, that was our next choice. We do want to tell you, as you're coming out of the park, there is a sign for a privately owned campground. Now, we thought privately owned meant they would have lots of amenities. You're driving through part of the national park. You're actually on property that belongs to the national park as you're going to it. When you get out of the national park, then it is a washboard road. We drove up there and drove through. Pretty much these videos are going to speak for themselves. I will just say, obviously, some people got some decent sized rigs in there.
Yes.
They're parked on dirt.
Yes.
The road back where they're camping was not as good as the road that we're on. No. I'll just say that.
And ours is a washboard road, and it's not smooth, but it's not as unsmooth.
We did not stop and talk to anyone there.
No.
If you're interested in that, you get a picnic table.
Yes,
that's your amenity. There are, from what we understand, showers available there. And there is a little convenience store, so maybe ice or something like that.
We don't know how much the showers cost.
We don't know anything about that site.
Camping is $7.50.
Not at that. That's a privately owned one.
Oh, we don't know how much.
Yeah, we didn't check out anything there. We don't know how much anything is. We just drove through there. Then we came. We didn't stop there. We didn't pull off there. No. We came down to the sign that showed us where Hamburger Rock is, that there's a campground. And as we started down the road, we realized there was also just some dispersed camping on either side. And so, as we were going past, Mylena said, that's an excellent site. I wanted to see Hamburger Rock.
And when you're this close, why not?
We're 0.3 of a mile before you get to Hamburger Rock. So we went on down there, And I'm going to tell you, if you are towing anything, and I'm going to say even like, now if you a tent trailer, I think would be okay. But any kind of...
I don't think that retro that was very small would have been okay.
keep to the left if you're pulling anything. If you go to the right, there's an overhang, which height-wise we might have made, except it's really washed out. And so we'd either have to go in a really deep rut, which I'm not going to do, or
Which
scrape
is
the top
right at the edge, and it's
of that
not,
rock.
Yes.
So anyway, there are a couple of RVs on the back side, and you'll see that. But I'm pretty sure when they went in, they turned to the left and drove
Yes.
around. Once again, there you have a picnic table and vault toilet.
Yes.
All of the areas we're going to be telling you about now are part of the Indian Creek Recreation Area.
Yes.
And so the established campgrounds, the fee is $7.50 per night.
And there was nothing about a senior pass or anything like that, if you're wondering.
And so...
Some of us wonder about those things since I got mine yesterday.
So anyway, we when we saw the campsites, and there's nothing wrong with them at all, but we'd seen this dispersed site, and so it would have been easier to get in heading out rather than coming back. But we were able to make it, and we got in, and we're driving on rock a lot of this.
Yes.
It's not real smooth, but I'm going to show you the level. We are perfectly level. The bathroom door does not swing any direction. This is more level than I think any of the campsites we will have seen. But there are a number of dispersed camping spots between here and the road, 211. And then this road shows it goes, there's something 15 miles on down there.
And then there's something almost 50 miles on down there.
We have seen a number of vehicles. Yes, this is a dusty area because it's a washboard road, and there were a lot of people heading out there. We saw 2 horse trailers that each held, I'm guessing, 6 horses.
Or more.
And they were full heading out that way. We've seen people with ATVs, etc.
Lots of ATVs, motorcycles.
And that's fine. I mean, but anyway, you can see our view. Last night as the sun was setting that direction, the colors over here were just amazing. And this is free. This is dispersed.
And we can still see a snow-capped mountain.
Yeah, this is dispersed, and so it's free.
We don't have a picnic table.
That is really the only thing that we are lacking compared to these other campgrounds.
There are no vault toilets for the dispersed, of course.
Going on down the road, the next one was
Creek Pasture.
And what we are used to with Texas state parks, a lot of those will have a backstop as you're backing into your site. And so on our trailer, if I can back to where my tires are on that backstop, we've added 4 feet to the front end of our campsite.
Yes.
You cannot do that there. There are large rocks or a
like
railing.
A corral.
Yeah, your parking area is like a corral. Excellent. Yeah, example there. And so we saw an R-Pod. He could have gone back another foot, but his landing gear was just inches off of the road.
Yeah.
And so small.
Smaller.
But tent camping, once again, those are really geared toward tent camping. Not all of them have shade. There were a few that were available when we drove through there. But if I were coming to this section, did not have reservations, and wanted a campsite, I would turn in at Super Bowl Campground. It's a washboard road, but it is barely off of the road. It is RV friendly. I mean, you're going to have loops where you don't have to worry about if I turn down here, am I going to be stuck? There was one that we didn't actually go down at the very end, but when we went in, we turned right. Now, some of them, you could see people had gone beyond the gravel and backed up a little more, had used that to add to their campsite. There were several where the gravel, you would have been fine with a larger RV. There were a number of sites available. Not a lot of shade, but you do have vault toilets. And once again, the fee for The creek pasture and the Super Bowl is $7.50 a night.
And I want to talk about the vault toilets at Super Bowl. If you're going to be using those, personally, I wouldn't feel comfortable just because they are...
it's a little maze. You go in
Yes.
and there was just a chain to put across there. We didn't go into any of the vault toilets
No.
anywhere. We can't, tell you what those were like. But I am going to tell you that had I known we weren't going to get in
Sure.
the campground there or here, I would have, if I'd known about the
Sure.
Super Bowl. Once again, it's a washboard road, but that one I'm guessing maybe 3/10 of a mile
Yes.
off of the road. It's very close. And
But I don't think you could hear a lot.
no, it was kind of, you went over
Yes.
a rise, and so I don't think you would hear that little, it's Highway 211 that comes across to the Needles section. But I'm kind of glad we didn't know about that one, because we would have missed out on this Dispersed site, which is absolutely amazing. We're in a huge Dispersed site, and I told Mylena, I assume there'll be other people that join us, because it's
Yes.
plenty large. We wouldn't mind that at all. And there was a gentleman just camping out of his truck who stayed in this section with us last night. We may have more, who knows. We're going to be here a few more nights, and we're loving it. So if you're comfortable with dispersing, the road that goes out past Hamburger Rock Campground, that's going to be your option, because the others, they said no off-road
Yes.
vehicles, and so we did not see anywhere where there were any dispersed sites
Right.
near those. But if you're good with dispersed and free, this is the place to be. But if you're wanting a campsite, those are
And the one that's furthest is only about maybe 6 miles from the entrance.
From where we're sitting right now, we're less than a mile over to Highway 211, and I believe it's 3 miles from that road to the property line the boundary for Canyonlands. From there, it's 1.5 miles to the pay station, and then another 1.5 miles into the visitor center. So we're close. We
Yes.
are really close. Yeah, and it's less than 5 miles down to Super Bowl, which is the one
Yes.
that's furthest down. So you're really close. You're on this 211, which is the road that cuts
Yes.
across. If you're going to want services, you're going to have to be in one of the little towns.
Yes.
And that's going to be quite a little drive to get out here.
Yes.
But it certainly, if it's a beautiful area, we went on several hikes, and we're going to be telling you about those. So if you're interested in this area, look for our video about the Needles section of Canyonlands National Park. Thanks for watching Two Tired Teachers.